a phrase a lot that we hear growing up in a church setting. It's used for pretty much everything. A greeting, a goodbye, conversation starter. And we use it in times of grief, times of joy. It's a question that I've asked, you've asked, and we've all been asked. How can I pray for you? Now, I don't know about you, but when I hear this phrase, my brain goes into autopilot. Work, family, school. The basics, generic stuff. Things that should be on my mind, things that, that I should be worrying about. But the truth is, that's not always what's on my heart. But the generic stuff is just so much easier to say. It's so much easier to say you need someone to pray for your family than to admit that you're broken inside. It's easier to say you're stressed at work than to say there are things that keep me up every night and I can't deal with it. It's so much easier to lie to yourself than to be vulnerable with other people. It's like when you ask someone how they're doing, what's the common response? I'm fine. How are you? Even if you're not fine. Because sometimes it just feels like your emotions are the kind of thing that are yours. Your doubts are your own. And God forbid you share that with other people, because what would they think? What would they think if they knew the stuff that's on your mind, if they knew why you're struggling? So, I was a little caught off guard a couple weeks ago when I was talking to Johnny and Chris about some work I was doing for the Hero Maker series. At the end of the day, I was ready to leave, and they asked me, how can I pray for you? How can we pray for you? And I knew the answer to that. I've said it 1,000 times before, oh, pray for my family, work, school. And I went to say that, and the words caught in my throat, and I was left silent. I couldn't lie to myself anymore. And after a few minutes of just kind of sitting there awkwardly, I answered the question, but it wasn't me. It wasn't by my own will, but by some depraved effort to be heard by somebody. And I admitted something that has been on my heart for years, and I never really admitted to myself. When I get up here on this stage, I don't feel genuine. I feel fake, a fraud. Because I get up here and I sing stories of faith, stories of God, stories of conviction and hope, when I'm not singing from experience. I'm performing, I'm memorizing words, notes, taking what I learn at rehearsal and spreading it back out here every Sunday, with no real conviction on my heart. And then I asked a question that made it all so much more real for me. How am I supposed to get up here and lead these people when I'm not there myself? So when Christy asked me this morning if there was anything I wanted to say before this song, I kind of looked at her and scoffed. I was like, yeah, okay. Because I don't get up here and I don't talk. I sing and perform. Because what kind of stories of faith and struggle do I have? What kind of story is I can't sleep most nights because there are things that keep me up, that scare me? What kind of selfish story is it to say there are people here that pour into me every Sunday and I take nothing away from it because it feels like it all just drains out at the end of the day? Nobody wants to end a story when the protagonist is losing the war. So I just looked at her and I said, I don't know. And we started singing the song. And I sang those first few words and I felt my heart drop with realization. I love you, Lord. Your mercy never fails me. And all my days, I've been held in your hands. I'm not there yet, but I don't have to be. Because he's there, and he's waiting. And he's kept the porch light on for me so I can come home when I'm ready.